the massive growth in online streaming, and the predictions are that by 2024 that the streaming industry will be worth $688.7 billion.
It's extraordinary.
It's crazy. And then I was looking at other things like just the amount of money it costs to run different charities, and some
Mm.
people estimate you could actually solve world hunger for $30 billion.
Mm.
And I just was feeling a little bit appalled. As much as I love entertainment, I love movies, I love TV, I love the art form, I love the whole thing, and I particularly like the way that it can evoke emotion and make you think about stuff and move you. Now, for people who can't make it in person, will you have? Are you going to do online as well, or is that just too much to kind of have a physical festival and doing something online as well?
To secure a lot of these films, a lot of these overseas films, to try to negotiate online rights as well for a startup festival was just too tough. Some of the bigger festivals, Sydney and Melbourne, and those bigger festivals, they have been able to do that and acquire those sort of online rights. But we're not doing that. We're offering the purely physical festival, the bums on seats sort of film festival experience. We are looking to branch out and have online panels and online Q&A sessions. We're very fortunate to have director Alex Proyas as our patron, and he'll be there to conduct a masterclass. And because of the reduced seating capacity, you don't want to get someone like Alex Proyas out there and only have 15 or 20 people in the audience. So we're going to blow that up to potentially a bigger online crowd. We have a cyberpunk panel run by journalist Travis Johnson, and and we're certainly doing an online component to that. But the films themselves, at this point in time, we're going to do just in the seats.
Yeah. Okay. It sounds awesome. I wish I was going to be down there.
It's pretty extensive. On top of all the sessions we're running, every time you buy a session ticket, we have just an international short film loop just running all the time in one of the upstairs auditoriums. So you'll be able to go in there, literally spend all day Saturday at the venue and go to a session and come out and watch some international shorts. The bar will be open, go back into another film later on. So it's just this fully immersive science fiction experience. Part of the reason we're doing it at the Actors Centre is that they're very keen on creating a hub, like a science fiction community, or an artistic community, all year round. And to do that, they're going to have film festivals, and they're going to have photography exhibitions, and they're going to have art exhibitions and all that sort of stuff. And that's what we're trying to do, just become this. Obviously, with the festival, the film screenings as the spine of it, as the core of it, but all these other events around it, video game art, and looking at different sort of subgenres of science fiction, and looking at particular countries, like I say, the Middle Eastern science fiction sort of arm we're doing. So yeah, it's a pretty bold and ambitious undertaking for a year in which a pandemic has shut everything else down, but we're going to try and make it happen.
Yeah. So talk to us about that, because I have a hard enough time running these shows. So, and finding and lining up the guests and trying to create the artwork and promoting it and all the rest of it. So I could only imagine the process. You've got the advantage of 20 odd or more years experience in the industry, and I guess a lot of different people that you've connected with over that time frame, whereas I'm really I'm someone who's always loved film, but it wasn't until 18 months ago I just decided I was sick of my corporate career in Brisbane, so I ditched that and we moved to the coast, Sunshine Coast. Not the best strategic location at all, really, to be in. So I was like, no, that's it. I just started learning about video making and just reignite that creative side. I used to do a lot of creative stuff, and then the more I was learning about it, I was just kind of watching tutorials and things like that. And I was thinking, I could do this. Like, it's going to take a while before it becomes second nature, but I thought I could do it. It's been an ongoing just thing since then. I probably watch 1 to 2 hours of varieties of content, from tutorials to actual just TV or what have you. And I'm still hungry for more knowledge and more learning when it comes to the art and craft of the whole thing.
I completely understand why you would do that. Back in, like, move from the corporate world and chase your passion and chase your creativity. Back, like I said, back in 2000, I was the Asia Pacific sales manager for Variety newspaper, the sort of big Hollywood sort of trade publication, and it was right when the bottom fell out of the advertising market, and all suddenly all the dollars dried up everywhere for B2B publications, and I was just getting sick of, waking up at 2 a.m. to take calls from the London head office to tell them why I wasn't meeting my $1 million budget this month. And I thought, no, and all the while on the side, I was doing review work and broadcast work and film writing. So I thought, I'm going to chuck this in. I had obviously a very supportive wife, backed me on that, and I was, and it's sort of with the connections I made, and then with my own drive and my own creativity, you're able to go step by step through the industry. And the point you were making earlier about how did I sort of find time and find the energy to put it on in this year, in the COVID year. You go cap in hand to people who you trust and people whose creativity you inspire you, and you've tried to be close to over all these years. And fortunately, they see that in me as well, and they're able to find time and find energy to support me and support the festival. So we've cap in hand to all of these people. I started this with a zero bank balance, and I think I've gone backwards actually, but I've still been. But very supportive people in the industry have, like Pixel Wink, who did our terrific poster, which came out a couple of days ago.
Yeah, it looks great, that poster.
It is a terrific poster, and if you look closely in the eye, you can see that she's used the Harbour Bridge and the Opera House to create to put as the Sydney Film Festival. So Pixel Wink are great, and the guys at Deadhouse TV, Enzo Tedeschi is a great producer, and he's cutting together a trailer for us, which will be out soon. So a little bit of a plug there for some of the people who help us.
Definitely. Yeah. It's and that's one thing I have found in my short sort of stint, and even on the Sunshine Coast, there is still a bit of a community, and for the most part, everyone's been really supportive. I think I had one guy, I was at a Sunshine Coast Screen Collective event, who, and look, I won't name and shame the guy, but I think he was just more interested in talking to the girls.
There's a lot of that in the industry, yeah.
He kind of was just like, I sort of introduced myself. He was a very lackluster response, and then next thing he's like, I've got to go talk to this person over here. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, but I mean, the good thing on the Sunshine Coast is it's pretty laid back, which is what I love. I did live in Sydney, as mentioned, and I enjoyed it for a while. I think it was good that I was there when I was sort of 2021, so it's great if you want to be going out and doing stuff and what have you. Yep. But I think maybe those country roots sort of what drew me to Brisbane, which was a bit more chilled and not so much sort of hustle bustle and what have you. And potentially,
but still very quickly
the main thing.
Yeah, for sure. But Brisbane and Queensland is very quickly becoming the hub of our production industry up there, with Baz Luhrmann shooting his Elvis thing up there, and I think the next Thor film coming to Queensland, and Netflix are shooting a bunch of kids shows up there. So you're right on the doorstep of both a lot of the creative and technical types of the industry in Australia, and this huge influx of overseas talent as well. So it's a great state. I mean, I love Queensland. Obviously, like I mentioned, I was doing maybe I didn't mention a Queensland science fiction showcase as part of Sydney Sci-Fi, and we're having a 20-minute mini feature called Starspawn, directed by a guy called Travis Bain, and then we're having the premiere of Strangeville, which is a small town UFO story as part of the festival. So there's a lot of really exciting creative people in that part of the world. Yeah,
I think the Gold Coast is probably still the mecca, unfortunately, but again, it's not really my flavour. It's you kind of find it's funny. Like even when we lived in Brisbane, you'd have people who kind of were really either fans of the Gold Coast or fans of the Sunshine Coast.
Sure.
So I don't know. Look, I mean, part of what I'm up to with, for just my own little plug for Flicks for Good, which is really something that's only come about because of the pandemic. Ironically, the pandemic really put the nail in the coffin of my fledgling video production business. You know, I'd kind of only just kind of got to the point where I was able to hire a couple of people and lift the production value, do some work that I was getting to be remotely, you know, proud of, you know, and
Sure.
or I felt was at the level that I believed I could do if I had the clients who wanted to spend the dollars. But then yeah, Corona hit, and I mean nobody saw that coming. And I was just sort of sitting here, and I was just thinking, wow, there's going to be like all these people right here in Australia, in the US, UK, in the Western society, who literally are potentially going to be without work, and without money, you know, within a pretty short time frame, because 70% of the population spend what they earn,
Sure.
and possibly even without food, like because this was before the stimulus stuff was announced, and I was just thinking, shit, like who's going to help these people? And obviously, I can't run around and help them all, but I thought, well, surely there's a way to create money that goes to the people who maybe are tackling some of the things like suicide prevention or handling domestic violence or even just the isolation for some people, and food as well, and all those kind of essential bits and pieces. And I was just thinking about that, and at the same time, I was looking at the massive growth in online streaming, and the predictions are that by 2024, that the streaming industry will be worth $688.7 billion.
It's
Uh,
extraordinary.
it's crazy. And then I was looking at other things like just the amount of money it costs to run different charities. And some people estimate you could actually solve world hunger for $30 billion. And I just was feeling a little bit appalled. You know, as much as I love entertainment, I love movies, I love TV, I love the art form, I love the whole thing, you know, and I particularly like the way that it can evoke emotion and make you think about stuff and move you, you know, as well as sometimes just random enjoyment. But I just thought maybe there's a way to get access to some of that money. And so I've decided to start this social enterprise, which I've started, just haven't launched the actual service. I'm trying to gear up to do a big crowdfunding initiative. And essentially, it's video streaming. The ultimate goal will be to raise money and awareness for different people and causes in need via the mechanism of screening entertainment and using ad revenue. So this is the current thought process after consulting with a lot of different people and looking into it. I thought, I believe that people are savvy enough now, and I don't like the term woke, but it's kind of relevant, to be able to go, hey, take one on the chin, two, maybe even, watch a couple of ads. It's not going to kill you, you know, and then that pays for the content and that generates the money that we can give to different causes. And if we do it,
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. So when there's a mechanism there, I won't go overboard, but yeah, people could also donate cash. So that's the other part of flicks, is you can flick money to different causes as well. So you might watch Gorillas in the Mist, for example, and then straight after have a nicely put together 3-5 minute mini piece about some sort of cause directly related to whatever it was you watched, that you don't have to watch, but if you choose to watch it, you can just click a button and ping some money to that cause. So
I checked out the website. Before we chatted, I had a look what you were doing, and the more I read into it, the more sort of convinced it's a terrific undertaking and a really worthwhile cause. So good on you, mate, for doing it. It's anyone who brings a little bit of goodness to the world in whatever form is all right by me.
Yeah, thanks, mate. I appreciate it. I definitely need all the support. All the support that I can get, because it's a big undertaking. It's a very bold move that I'm going for, but I kind of started thinking small, and then as I thought about it more and more and more, I thought, you know what, actually, what if I did the exact opposite and just went balls out and went for this massive global awareness push? And that's something else that excites me, is the idea of getting like a real grassroots movement of people that go, hey, we'd like to see something good come out of entertainment. We're going to still keep watching TV. If we can watch TV and also help people at the same time, that's a win. Let's get behind and share the story and give some money, and maybe people will lend a hand and all that sort of stuff. So,
and from the other perspective, when you look at that, the very often the films that come from a true story or come from a cause or inspired by some true event that would lend themselves to your endeavour, what you're suggesting, they're often the very best sort of films. So you're bringing good films to good people who can then put good money towards them. Oh, there's your advertising.
Very good. Yeah, three times good.